And this is, again, we all know the performance
Okay, first pick.
great in game 1,
Hallo Plop.
but I also think that is not even
James.
related to they were planning on playing Ghost in game 2.
Und hallo Dora.
Nope, I don't think so either.
And
However,
maybe
I
they were
think
like,
it does work out well.
If we win game 1 and we don't have first pick, we don't
Und hallo Gotcha.
or something like that, but I don't want to get into it anymore. Let's see how Ghost performs here with aiming this time around. Maybe a better bottom lane 2v2 matchup could end up being pretty big. The Lulu did not get picked up in the last game. The Aphelios was also banned, so we could see Aphelios threat.
Nocturne first two ban.
Not saying they're going to
Wenn nachher zu TS Top Esports via Giro, wenn es zeitlich passt, ja, um 14 Uhr ist aber das Autofill-Quiz.
Oriana, Azir trades
Um
potentially.
14 Uhr
We already did the Rise.
ist Double Autofill-Quiz, also mal gucken.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, KT are going to force an Azir ban. Is likely what's happening, I would assume.
Und danach schauen wir mal, was wir machen.
The Azir would feel pretty good, even if there is an Oriana coming.
Das Simple spielt Elimination Game um 16:30 gegen NLP. Gibt's was Neues bei Bin? Er spielt.
That's what I was thinking, actually.
Das mit IM doch bestimmt nichts. Also er meinte, Phil meinte, 17 Uhr ist sehr, also 17 Uhr ist spätestens Schluss. Sollte hinkommen.
Azir ban here, but then they first pick Oriana without Jarvan or Nocturne.
Ist nicht der dümmste Fleet. Ist ein anderes Format. Also zwei andere Formate. Halt sollte passen.
Comes through for KT for free without the ultimate ball carriers in the Nocturne and Jarvan.
I have to say that even though they did not.
Pass mal, eine Map, wenn mir 16:30 Uhr startet, 17 Uhr spätestens fertig. Ich sag eher 16:30 Uhr. Das wird passen. Ich glaube, wir kriegen es hin.
I think Score is the best performing player on the team right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not actually on the Rift. And there is the Azir that we were talking about. BDD didn't actually win with it last time we saw him play it. But hopefully he can get some redemption here in this game.
So what's the ball carrier here? Xin Zhao, I suppose.
I mean, I think Scout still plays Ori, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like, is it Alistair on 3? You know, is that what they're hoping for? That sounds a little.
So, Oriana.
Jungle angle?
Could be. I'm not as worried about the Sylas as I am about how Alistair warps the bottom lanes a lot of the time.
Kein Wukong. Wie wäre es mit noch einem Jungler, den Toplaner im Jungle? Grrrr. Mehr Toplaner im Jungle. Reicht.
Also gone for something like a Renekton here. I mean, they still could.
I think they almost definitely will, is what I'm assuming.
And I think that ends up just with the classic Genji sort of mid-game.
So, King, zeig uns deinen Cannon.
And wow, these drafts.
Zeig uns deinen Cannon, bitte, danke.
This whole week, I'm like, oh wow, I guess it's just we solved it.
Und Renekton Jungle? Verdammt gute Frage.
On one side, and we've got a pigeon, a monkey, and a crocodile on the other. I like it. A bit of a menagerie coming together.
So, Gnar?
Well, I mean, Gnar, Kennen, either of those going to be just fine. Kingen has played a bunch of different things, so could elect to go for something a little bit more weird.
I think going for like Zahin is too risky.
I think Gnar makes the most sense.
Wow. All right, so now we're looking at trying to make sure Aphelios and Thresh or Aphelios Lulu isn't a thing here for KT, because that would be insane. They don't have pick priority since they're first pick, so you could deny one of those picks if you want to get it on your side.
I think banning Lulu makes a lot of sense, just regardless.
Yeah,
Lulu Xin Zhao is so strong.
Unless you think you have...
Na, auch 3. Auch okay.
You kind of have to do it. I just think that Aphelios Thresh isn't as strong.
Renekton Jungle Vibe machen? Ne, ich glaube nicht, dass es mal. Also. Ich meine, sie könnten seinem Q theoretisch. Die sollen mal selber in den Jungle. Es gibt doch das eine NA. Den einen NA-Spieler, OTP, wie auch immer. Der selber Jungle gespielt hat die ganze Zeit, aber war halt Trash, obviously.
Both teams, so there's the Aphelios. That is going to be the one that leaves first. Would be very fun if Aiming played Jhin and used Ghost Skin.
That would be very fun, and I do think it kind of works with this draft at this point.
Yeah, they do have a fair bit of consistent damage with BDD on this Azir.
The other pick that stands out right now is the Ezreal. That is incredibly strong, I think, for both drafts, and is pretty safe for Taeyun into this Wukong composition, can buy space into the Renekton. Ziggs gets banned. Might just see that Ezreal in this final spot.
Yeah,
Lulu, I think, no longer as valuable here for Nongshim Red Force.
Yeah, without the Aphelios, it is a little bit less of a dangerous option. We'll see. I think
Ezreal
is another one.
It's
Sivir is
so,
another decent pick.
So strong right now. Sivir can't, can only spell shield one of the ticks of the Cyclone, so it can still die to the Wukong, but they have a decent amount of set to kind of protect it. Interesting to see the Rakan ban here, especially because they're the ones with the Wukong on their side.
Yeah, an interesting choice. Let's see what Taeyeon's going to be picking up here. I think,
Alles da, sie wir 4-5.
Wow.
Okay, jetzt vielleicht nicht mehr.
Now aiming and Ghost should
Okay, jetzt vielleicht besser.
block Ashe Seraphine and just smash the lane.
I don't know if there's really any sort of Renata deny angle here. Like, you could play Ashe Renata, try to take it away.
I mean, that sounds fun too.
It is.
Ashe is just very good into...
Ashe Seraphine, ja. Gut gegen Renata Laspik.
Fire him at the end.
Ezreal weiß ich nicht. Ezreal
Aiming's just gonna play Ezreal.
Mit Ezreal FF so halt. Also die FF Mitte und Botlane Prior damit.
Bottom 2v2s, how I thought these two teams were gonna approach it. They kind of did the opposite of each
Ich weiß nicht, ob ich das so geil finde.
I really thought Taeyeon was gonna opt for something a little bit safer, a little bit more scaling oriented, and they were like, no, I'm going Kalista. And like the Rakan, I thought maybe we'd see from KT.
3 losing lanes, Top-Lane Prior ist so even im Early Game. Okay, Ezreal Karma salvaged.
So basically saying, yeah, you can get Renata.
Okay, Ezreal Karma salvaged. Ezreal Karma Prior. Passt. Ezreal Karma salvaged.
This is going to be a difficult composition to play out for KT though, because they are lacking sort of that go button, the classic engage.
Ja, die müssen jetzt wahrscheinlich trotzdem Renata gehen. Ich glaube nicht, dass du irgendwas anderes gehen solltest, kannst. Ja. Okay. Sag, Botlane Prior ist gesalvaged, das passt. So, ihr bekommt 2 Minuten.
I think his laning phases have been very good, and his Gnar bar management is really strong. If it was almost anyone else, like if we're looking at Clear or Dudu here in this draft, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. This is a little bit too complex to pilot because there isn't an extremely strong ball carrier here for Nongshim. Sure, Sponge can often, just set it up by just simply audaciously charging into the enemies, but I kind of feel that in terms of longevity, this composition has very little.
Für den KT-Draft viel Comfort. Ja, wie die Cast auch gesagt haben, wenig harte Go-Tools, aber das wird schon passen.
Und ne? Speed up the Wukong, the Renekton to get them into range to, impact trying to pick the Orianna, or even getting the Kalista shut down if she is trying to run rampant in a team fight.
Chef Kingen? I don't know what's happening there.
Says he's going to make it for you, but I don't know what he's making.
Yeah, I don't think any of us know what he's making. I think that was what was made sure of. That is absolutely incredible.
The evolution of Agumon.
Yeah. Let's see whether BDD can actually evolve in this game as well, because he's going to need to if KT want to get back into this series. Or is it just going to be match point for Nongshim? After game number 2, that would be absolutely absurd.
Ja, kann ich mir nicht vorstellen. Mal schauen. Katie wird schon. Das wird schon.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the second game of the series. KT do spot that ward out as Lahen's going to get discovered here by Ghost. The second support to be played, and he misses the Mantra Q.
Wie war gemeint? Sehr eindeutig. Sehr, sehr eindeutig. Botland hat Game komplett übernommen. Und jetzt haben wir Ghost statt Polu. Und das ist nicht gut, wenn das Mantra Q daneben geht. Botland musst du Prior bekommen als SB Kammer. Die müssen hart für Prior spielen. Range gegen Range, super schwierig, Prior zurückzubekommen, wenn du es einmal verlierst.
The recoil of Ox from backstage.
Nächster Mantra Q von Kammer muss sitzen.
Do you think Ghost said sorry afterwards, or do you think he just kind of cringed himself? Like,
he might have said sorry, actually. It's actually a good point.
Ja, Mantra Q muss sitzen, aber Mantra Q muss auf Taeyeon setzen, nicht auf Lehens.
We're chilling. Got the wave cleared. Did not clear this ward. Neither of them, in fact, were able to get that taken out here.
I mean, Mantra Q for push, maybe.
Sweeper, which was discussed a little bit yesterday.
Sieht nach Level 2 für Kammer Ezreal aus.
Fighting one another right now. The Orianna doing what she often does in the early levels, where you can really get.
Das ist verrückt, die zeigen quasi die erste Wave komplett und dann den wichtigsten Teil, also das Level 2 Hitten, zeigen sie halt nicht. Oh mein Gott, Ghost. Oh mein Gott, Ghost.
As Ghost not quite able to help out enough.
Like, it's the butterfly effect of that one missed Mantra Q that allows them to actually make these aggressive plays.
Ja, es ist nicht guckt so, aber es ist viel schwieriger. Ja, wieder. Du darf dir nicht passieren. Darf dir nicht passieren. Das ist so crucial.
miss from the observing team as well. That was quite.
Jonas Strong is
Darf nicht
also
passieren.
very good at highlighting mistakes. And that's why we love him so much.
But sometimes in games like this,
Ah,
a few small mistakes are the deciding factor. As we
Und das bekommst du in den Invade auf Botside, deswegen. Interesting.
Game one.
Ooh, Sponge moving over.
Ja, Sponge weiß natürlich nicht, dass Kass kein Smite hat.
Be able to take this if he wants it. There it goes. Cuz trying to do what he can here. He's the one with the red buff, so Sponge.
Ja, er gewinnt auch irgendwann.
Gets the double smack with the Q.
It's all these things though. It's really well, 2 empowered Qs missed for Ghost. So our Renata lane is winning hard, and now my jungler can come over and start impacting
Ja.
the enemy jungler with the prime.
Super ekelhaft. Also, for real, durch Botlane halt entschieden. Also, durch Botlane ist das hier alles passiert.
And both of them now flashless. I think
Ich kann sagen, die 3 Fragezeichen in den neuen Film.
if BDD hits level 6
Okay.
reset, then
Bring mich mal in den Loop. Die 3 Fragezeichen. Bekannt geworden durch Hörbücher, richtig? Das waren Original-Hörbücher oder waren das Bücher zuerst?
The state of CS that much, but it is, like you said, more threatening when the Azir has that ultimate.
Main Draft findest du besser?
perfect bouncing in and out of this wave. Is where
Ja, man kann ja, also die haben halt nicht wirklich Tools, KT, ne?
fresh off
Also wenn die even reingehen ins Midgame, würde ich sagen, 2 Items auf Kalista, ziemlich OP. Hörbücher, okay. Okay. Und die Kinofilme sind immer dieselben Schauspieler, weil müssen die nicht inzwischen dann super alt sein, oder wie wird das gemacht?
To spot a potential early gank from Sponge, as he's going to be pathing topside now. Start is clear. The impact of the Wukong pre-6.
Nein, wechselt. Aber es ist egal.
Extra vision. They don't need much on the bottom lane because they're kind of just hugging a turret at this point in time.
Yeah.
Ist glaube ich die dritte Änderung. Juckt es oder?
So it might be under a little bit more threat, but right now we know that Sponge is nowhere near.
Ja.
Aiming, throwing out some shots though, does manage to find them when they are wandering around. Let's see where the Ghost is going to find it. There it is. That's a Mantra Q that's going to hit as he takes Lahens for a walk and maybe doesn't want to do that. It's carrying a lot of sticks now. Is Taeun not going to pull them out just yet?
Durch Rille? Okay. Okay. Ja, dann viel Spaß. Habe ich bisher nicht gejuckt? Gotcha.
Bailout is one of the most horrifying things in a lane state like this. If they all in you, barriers back up for Taeun in just a second here. Hemming's barrier much less valuable as Taeun is just going to be a blender, ripping through that Ezreal's health bar.
See right now, Taeun will be shoving this wave forward and it is going to reset back towards KT. Was looking a little bit awkward as Aiming was forced to just farm with Mystic shots because there was no one really in the area. As Lahens gets tethered, but is able to break that one.
Ooh, bit of a gank.
Now they're looking for it as Ghost. Has to flash back.
Oh, das darf dir nicht passieren.
Not going to be quite enough to take down Ghost, though, as we can see. And so Nongshim.
Aber honestly, Double Flash raus. Aber es ist sogar okay, oder? Double Flash raus. Und Aiming kann die Wave nicht catchen.
Yeah, Wind becomes lightning. He's going to come on through there. Gets the knock up onto Cuz.
Krass Flash raus. Jetzt ist Firma.
And Sponge.
Oh, war ja.
Might actually have another round of spells relatively soon as
Ja, machen sie gut. Jetzt müssen sie wegrennen, weil Karma natürlich kommt, aber das Ghost kein Icon mehr seit letzter Offseason. Der ist nach der letzten, also der ist quasi im November gerostet.
Yeah, at least Ghost comes back with full health, but he's not going to be full health for very long.
Jetzt die Wave noch hard pushen an Base wahrscheinlich.
Minions relatively well, and now Taeun and Lahens going to shove this one forward also. Possibly just go back for a little bit of a tempo reset, then look for that level 6 and fight once more. As Aiming, taking just way too much damage here from this combination.
Fatal. Was hier auf Botlane passiert, fatal.
Is still relatively nearby as well. He's actually going to come up, look to potentially get some vision on this dragon. As on the top side of the map, Cuz getting closer to level 6, but doesn't have it yet.
Oh dear. Ghost is just dead.
But why?
Well, I
Doppelfatal.
have the answer for you there.
Weiß nicht, warum er da auf die Wave gesteppt ist.
But he is dead.
Oh, war ja. Das ist so bad.
First blood over to Sponge.
Well, I thought,
Boah. So ein bisschen Triggering. Er verliert jetzt seinen Blue Buff, aber 400 Gold für ein Camp ist okay. Er muss jetzt nur schauen, dass er eine Gromp verteidigt bekommt und das kriegt er hin. Und dann ist es voll worth it natürlich. Ja. Ist natürlich komplett fein.
Yeah, it does mean that Cuz was able to take the blue buff from Nongshim. That was what was spawning. It's probably okay. There's an Emperor's Divide onto Scout. Shockwave not quite working, but it is still going to escape.
Okay. Nicht geflasht. Ich dachte, ein bisschen cocky und er muss trotzdem flashen. Stark.
Only a trade of ultis.
BDD does end up getting a huge health advantage here, though, and a lot of resources are going to be spent now to make sure he can use that for maximum value.
Yep, Conquering Sands comes on through there as Lahen's looking for a bit of an angle, but Sponge has moved up also. Cuz has some minions to deal with in the jungle, so he will be taking those down. Or some camps. Probably shouldn't say minions.
Ziemlich kacke.
Backfires for KT, though. You know, they end up
Nee, Ghost war nicht retired. Ghost war überall. Meine ich. Der war bei Nongshim zuerst noch. Und dann, weiß ich nicht, wo er dann war, aber auf jeden Fall ist er letztes Jahr dann bei Astral Esports gespawnt. In der LTA South. Und jetzt ist er bei KT. Also Renat ist Lane Bully Lane schlechthin. Ja, aber Ezreal Karma gewinnt. Ezreal Karma gewinnt eigentlich. Zumindest mal Prio-technisch. Bekommen die Prio, aber die Karma hat Mantra Q gemisst. Also es ist halt super Shifting Matchup, ne? Ganz klar, also wenn da Skillshots missen, Double Range Matchup, also Double Range Support Matchup, dann ist es over. Ja, jetzt ist Katastrophe. Ja, jetzt ist voll Katastrophe.
And Taeun able to just farm out these minions behind the turret, has another one crashing forward, should be more plates over to the Kalista.
We've had this conversation before about KT's lack of picking a strong support with aiming, right? They haven't made a clear decision on what support is the better one, but right now in this series, and for a lot of LCK Cup in general, neither are looking like a strong option right now. And I want to give Ghost a lot of credit because he grinded super hard to earn his spot on this roster. It was kind of handpicked by BDD.
Nongshim, DK, Astral, KT. Okay.
Is a legend, right?
Also war er zwischen... Okay.
Does take a lot of damage here from aiming, though.
Yeah, that W connects that time around. Is now Nongshim gonna look for...
Wer vom DK Worlds Win Roster war nochmal zur FPX gegangen? Nuguri.
Ghost is moving in. Sponge comes down. Spotted on that.
Nuguri.
Ghost does get a bunch of vision down. So KT now with a little bit of spare time in this lane. And I mean, they are picking up the pieces of this disaster at this point in time.
And the value we've seen from the Xin Zhao is so much higher than we've seen from the Wukong. And that makes sense generally, right? Because early game, you don't have that much agency as...
Sofort basen. Ich glaube, es sind müsste Standard Sky fertig haben.
Only able to really force a flash, or rather a ult trade in the mid lane. And otherwise, it's just been Sponge doing so much more work in this game. And every time we see Cuz, he's just trying to...
72 CS müsste Standard Sky sein. Ja. Also 72 CS mit Kill und Assist.
In these lanes, yeah, really hasn't been able to do anything on this Wukong. KT struggling to actually farm it out on the bottom side. And we talked about the engage issues they have later on. That is still going to persist.
Yep, and Perfect is ahead by a little bit here towards the top side of the map. We're having a look at this for, first time in a while. As Kingan, I don't think he's going to be going for any kills or anything like that. So Poker heads towards the mid lane, but at least the Renekton is doing fine here in this lane. So we'll be able to do his job come mid-game. But I think that KT needs to start fighting for some of these dragons, even if this next one is a Chemtech.
Spawning that double somehow, some way would be it is. Yeah, denying the double dragon's the most important part. Blast Cone and him out of there.
Yeah, so Cuz is...
Welcher Naskin ist es? Ich schaue drauf, sobald sie nicht mal zeigen. Ich hab gerade, sorry. Spielen gute Bottom Pressure. Nongshim. Also sehr gute Bottom Pressure.
Too tough with Cuz having flash and cyclone and aiming is already under the turret, so it's not like they're denying him back to farm. So I think
aber auch Renata Ulti.
Lose value here for Nongshim very quickly.
Kam keine Renata Ulti mehr. Nongshim ist Gruppe mit Timon in der Hand. Genji, ja. Das ist der El Reina, oder wie er heißt. El Rayo, ja. Oder El Leona, irgendwie sowas. Ja, El Leona heißt er. Luchador, ja, wie auch immer. Ja, basically, Nongshim muss die Series gewinnen, ansonsten muss entweder Genji oder T1 ihn durch Play-ins durch, weil er die Gruppe dann verloren hat. Wenn Nongshim gewinnt und T1 und Genji gewinnen, wovon wir mal ausgehen, dann muss ein Team von der Elder-Gruppe in Plains.
Sponge is still here, like aiming can't farm. He cannot actually safely get under his turret to take these minions out. finally going to get here now. I think this recall will probably complete as Ghost is showing up, but a few more minions.
Wie schaffen Pros es im Top-Lane-Counter-Matchup trotzdem 12 CS pro Minute zu haben? Ich glaube nicht, dass Renekton im Early-Game gecountert ist. Ich glaube, Renekton kann im Early-Game sehr gut lanen immer noch. Also, ich glaube, die können sehr, sehr gut lanen irgendwann immer noch, aber irgendwann wird es halt auf Sidelane unangenehm.
You picked this for the part that you lost, sadly.
Yeah, it's not quite working here, as Lehens wants to get this wave shoved in. True Shot Barrage will stop the back of Taeyun, so that gets a little bit back here for KT. Right now we can see that gold lead is actually ballooned by an extra 600 approximately since we checked in on it last. The Scout does have Luden's Echo, your favorite as far as the first items for Orianna's are concerned. A lot of burst damage as Lehens elects to be a Bandle Piper this game.
Yeah, you know, I think most supports at this point probably should think it works really well.
Das war kurz ein Forsen-Clip.
Stacking your spears as fast as possible.
Können in dem Fall Hanwha letzte Gruppe, ja, können sie. Ja, in dem Fall ja. Korrekt. Ja, ich glaube, die müssen dann die müssen irgendwie Map-Score machen gegen Genji und ich weiß nicht, ob das ein Ding ist, das passieren kann.
Invading the jungle, fishing for any target he can find, forcing KT into these really precarious positions. KT have handled it relatively well. They haven't fallen into the complete gutter.
Ich glaube, also es kommt darauf an, ich glaube, es kommt auf den Score von hier KT Nongshim an. Aber ich glaube, Hanwha muss dann gegen Genji Maps gewinnen, wenn KT hier Maps gewinnt. Nicht unbedingt die Series, aber wenn die Maps gewinnen, dann muss Hanwha gegen Genji auch gewinnen. Oder zumindest mal ein Game oder 2 Games. Hallo Birne. Grüße.
It should be double dragon for them, and they can continue to further that tempo advantage. Scout has this vision denied with the control ward. Ball placement here just denies any entry, and they should be able to, with this Callista, which is basically a second smite, secure this dragon easy peasy.
Shockwave gonna catch one as Ghost once
Geile eingeflasht Ulti von Lehens.
There is Cuz with the decoy out.
Geile eingeflasht Ulti. Kriegst 4 raus.
That's not gonna get them a dragon. And that is just Scout throwing out an ulti to make sure that they're going to be able to lock up the objective. Beautifully done. I guess Lehens' hostile takeover as well, but a very comfortable trade.
I mean, the position of the ball in the initial group up for KT made it so they had to wrap around. He still ends up getting a pretty high value shockwave. It's not a game-winning one. It's not one that's going to go on this highlight reel, but it's just enough. That's all they needed. It's kind of checkmate on this dragon setup. KT don't really have a good play, as Taeyun is trying to bait here a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing. Lehens able to move on over, so Taeyun would have had a bailout opportunity. Yes, he's going to fly on through there, but aiming misses a bunch of buttons. Handshake also going to go wide, so a bit of a stalemate here towards the bottom side.
Ocean Soul is pretty good for the Gnar in the side lane. Not going to be the greatest dragon for the double dragon roll here for Nongshim, but you know, we're getting to a point where you start to wonder, is the advantage enough? Can KT stabilize here?
Hallo Clips.
The gold lead not that massive anymore as Ghost.
KT has to win 2 games. Okay.
I think just not expecting the
Also 2 KT Wins bedeutet, dass Hanwha dann mindestens eine Map gewinnen muss gegen Genji. Und ich weiß nicht, ob das, also wenn wir jetzt mal die letzte Series von Genji und von Hanwha anschauen, dann weiß ich nicht, ob das passieren wird. Morgen neue Premier Bestellung, falls sie die Kombination, falls. Übermorgen. Right. Januar 31 Tage, oder?
Looks like he's got the same item, but it just feels like it doesn't do quite as much. Just a little bit of a shame there. As Sponge,
also just in case natürlich.
With not too much of a response here out of KT. And the last game looked like it was going horribly, but now okay, got a little bit of an angle here. As the cycle
Taeyun kommt Taeyun raus? Oh, er kommt nicht raus.
Does go down to the bailout, and unfortunately not going to get
Gut gemacht. Und Downside von, erstmal Downside von Bandle Pipes first statt Michaels. Und Downside von kein Cleanse. Aber du kannst halt Cleanse nicht gegen Ezreal Karma, glaube ich. Und das kommt Anfang der Woche. Auch da bitte Feedback, also no joke. Immer Feedback bei sowas. Also, das jetzt noch nicht weiß, vielleicht darf ich es ja einfach nicht sagen. Oder weiß nicht, ob ich es nicht sagen darf, keine Ahnung. Ich glaube, es ist übrigens sehr bequem, das freut mich sehr. Das freut mich sehr.
Maybe not literally anyone else, but although Ghost is quite a bit in the hole gold-wise himself, but again, less important in the support role. King gets a whole turret though, so it doesn't really feel like you accomplished that much. If you're KT, this is not the loser's mentality that Umti was talking about. This is just a really strong play here.
Ja, ich glaube, Michaels First wäre halt wahrscheinlich der Play gewesen. In Heinz, also wir reden jetzt über Hindsight of course, aber Wahrscheinlich wäre das Mikaels der Play gewesen. Da passiert nämlich der Play nicht.
Anything you pick up feels like a win for KT right now, because that's all they've got this whole game.
Yeah, and now Aiming is the only one that's here. Does have Cuz now backing him up, but this Rift Herald will be able to get a charge. More plates going down. This turret in a bit of trouble. Crystalline Overgrowth is there, but they're not going to proc it for now. As a Shockwave once again going to land onto BDD. Scout throwing this orb around willy-nilly.
Echt verrückt, wie wenig damit die BDD da gerade gemacht hat, oder nicht? Gut von Scout gespaced.
The answer is yes for now.
He doesn't have to use his ult, so he should be safe now with Cuz there as well.
All right, taking Taehyun for a walk is Ghost, as the Mystic shots are at least going to be landing for the moment. Top lane is going to meet on the bottom side of the map. A little bit upside down.
Gauss hat gewonnen.
Okay.
And that's a TP from BDD to get back over to the turret and catch that wave. This does give Scout a little bit of extra agency on the map. There's no objective up just now. My biggest concern for KT is that they're just going to send it on this next dragon fight, and it's not going to go well, because they're not going to have prio. They just can't get it. You know, when you look at the control vision that's in the river, I mean, it's not a ton, but it's just right where it needs to be. Like, Nongshim have kind of done exactly what they need to make sure that there's just no in for KT in this game. Speaking of, Cuz just not even allowed to get the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, Sponge going to be able to lock that one down, had Kingen rotating over, so yeah, there was no way that they were going to be fighting for that one.
And this Gnar has silently become quite a big threat in team fights. You know, you have the Orianna setup, but the Gnar...
Ja, ich glaube, ja. Na, mit Sterex, ja. Mal schauen, gegen SWK war eigentlich nicht so leicht zu spielen, glaube ich.
Oh yeah. All right, a little bit of supportive combat here, as Ghost is going to snare up Lehens momentarily. Aiming does get the transformation on his Muramana, so that 2-item spike does come through. This time, feeling a little bit
Drake
in the last game, where he was looking for the same combination of items. As Ghost is just dead again, Shockwave going to come on through and Scout.
Beschissener Timer, Homie. Also beide Supports hier, also Polu, also nicht hier jetzt Lehens und Ghost, sondern Polu zuerst reingeschissen, jetzt Ghost auch noch. Kein gutes Zeichen für KT.
Certainly a bit of a support gap happening in this series across multiple players. I hate to say it, but I really didn't want to say it. I didn't think I had to say it because we're all watching the same game here, but
yeah.
I mean, when you watch these two supports interact with each other, you mentioned the support combat, it feels like I'm watching that old Switch game ARMS, you know? the team that comes out from Ghost, but Lehens had more friends, you know? It wasn't a 1v1 fighting game in this case, and Ghost was way out of position without Flash.
Ja, das ist nicht gut. Beide Supports feeden.
Maybe an angle?
Maybe. On cooldown as in goes Cuz. They get the Fates call out. And that means that Lehens is absolutely...
Um nicht rauszukommen, super. Das freut mich. Dafür sollen sie da sein. Werden auch noch besser.
Oh, there's the flash. They pick up Taehyun. No Fates call.
Okay, guter Catch.
Picked up Lehens as well.
Auf einmal.
Another kill as KT might even be able to follow this minion wave towards this inner turret at the same time. More plates going over.
I mean, this is starting to be a little bit of gold here. You know, I mean, aiming is
yeah, gold is kind of even.
In terms of items here, and if they just can kind of on repeat make these mid ganks happen, it's not even a gank, it's just an engage. Maybe there's a way back into this game. As I'm a little bit concerned about this Gnar. I'm a little bit concerned about how the KT comp is going to scale without a traditional support here in this game, but and I'm not talking about the fact that Ghost is changing roles. I just mean that they're playing Karma.
Yeah.
Not about Ghost individually. It's not about his 700 cold deficit. He's still Karma.
Okay, to be fair, ich finde Karma OP as fuck, aber ja.
We're gonna have a look at this one more time. As yeah, Ghost.
To be fair, ich finde Karma OP.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit offensive to Ghost that we show this again.
Yeah.
But this turret is really low. Aiming has the empowered auto, and BDD
Good play.
Taking back. Taking a second time this game, just thinking he's safe. Didn't have face call, didn't matter.
Didn't have flash.
Didn't have flash, that's the real one.
Perfect did use his ultimate.
Der Chunk von Scout. Da ist die Ori, ist auch scary, aber ja, also 10 CS pro, mehr als 10 CS pro Minute, ein Kill, einer ist aber, okay, der muss auf richtig viel Gold sitzen, oder nicht? Der muss auf richtig viel Gold sitzen, das kann nicht sein, dass er nur so wenig Items hat.
Been interacting too much, but he's taken down two whole turrets.
He's very much going to be a huge problem the longer this game goes on. Even though right now, if you look at the gold, you're like, woof. I mean, why are you talking like this game is one-sided? It's only 700. Like, aiming has a lead, Cuz has a lead. It's BDD, Player of the Year.
Yeah,
but it's the fact that there's 3 dragons stacked against them. They have a side lane threat. KT have an Azir, which in another game state would be a side lane threat, but just really isn't in this game right now. I mean, look at the control Nongshim have. Gold isn't everything in professional League of Legends. And the arm guard that Scout holds right now gives him so much extra power as well. I don't think that they are going to be able to start this Baron right now.
Manchmal danke für den 15. Son ist sehr teuer. Ich glaube, der sitzt auf 2000 Gold mindestens. Scout. Ich sag Minimum 2000 Gold, auf den er sitzt.
That's what they're looking for. Aiming, I didn't think was going to be enough to actually defend that.
Sonjas und Blinding Jewel oder noch ein Large Shot hat er.
And some resets to come on through here for Nongshim. Yeah, so you mentioned it, the gold very, very close.
No fucking... Niemals hatte der 1,2k nur. Das kann gar nicht sein.
Three dragons on Nongshim once again.
Wie ist es möglich?
Become a little gloomy here for KT.
He's trying to shut this Nara out when he
Komm, Gold auf Platten. Platten, Platten, Platten.
Is it cause he kind of needs to deal with Taeyun, needs to be able to help engage.
Ja, also ja, das ist eigentlich mein Ja, ich sehe es, aber also er hat auch 100 Gold mehr, der Asir zwar, aber trotzdem. The fuck? Ich habe das Gefühl, XP in Relation zu Items ist so komisch. Also, dass die halt Level 16 zum Beispiel sind, aber gerade so 2 Items haben. Also Toplane ist halt fast Level 17, Minute 23, ne? Das ist so krank. Okay, jetzt hat er 2. Wow, er geht GA. Okay.
They do kind of have a lot of vision of prio as well, you know?
Yeah, the map seems to be teamfighting well for Nongshim at the same time.
Yeah, it's on.
Das Renekton ist auch gefährlich und es ist noch kein fertiges Mikaels bei...
Yeah.
Bei Lehens, der geht gar nicht Mikaels, oder? Warum geht der kein Mikaels?
Yeah, for Nongshim, you were talking about Na being a menace in the side lane. That is going to mean that the Na is irremovable.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, perfect. Might as well just unplug his keyboard. Being a bit facetious, but he just went back and now has to answer this huge wave on the top side. And Scout teleport bottom,
okay, genau, also so ein Renekton Flash Engage, ich meine, also viel mehr Tools hat KT halt nicht, ne? Schon.
Perfect does too, but he's gonna have to deal with this pushing Gnar, and plates are gonna go down. He has Sterix and a BF sword.
Logic, danke für den 11. Vielen Dank.
This is a very, very scary Gnar. Alright, there's a Shirelius to come on through. The handshake comes down as dear, Taeyun in so much trouble.
Hä?
As he gets into that back
Random ass Engage. Ja, jetzt ist er, jetzt hä? Hä?
The Crocodile's gigantic, but 2 kills swiftly back here for Nongshim as aiming looks for Sponge and should be able to dive on top of him. It's perfect, that helps lock the target down. And KT finally doing something that we can put in the pros column.
Aber
it's the 3rd time they killed Taeyun in this game. And maybe it's the charm. It is going to be their first dragon of the game.
Stimmt doch irgendwas wieder nicht. Das ja Ramen Ding, das ist doch scheiße. Das ist doch nicht winnable. Dieser Fight war doch mal wieder, das ist doch komisch. Ich fand dieser Drake Standoff, wenn es zu dem Standoff kommt, dann ist es nicht winnable. Ja, KT. Oh, okay.
Yeah, anyway, ultimately, BDD makes the play on the replay, and then it doesn't matter because Kingen is like, I would like to PvP now. And then he shows up and just...
Ja, das ist ziemlich low. ADC auf Midway, ja. Ist halt 3 gegen 4 gewesen, ja, aber in dem Spot zu sein, weißt du, in dem du so engaged werden kannst, ist komisch.
As KT,
ist komisch.
Carry for another 20 seconds, gonna have to try and fight this one. I'm not sure how that one's gonna work.
I just don't see it. I think that's just a free Baron.
Aiming giveth, aiming taketh away, I guess.
Und dann passiert es, dann kommst du aus dem Replay raus und auf einmal ist der andere AD-Carry tot und die verlieren Nash deswegen. Sass. Sass.
See this team fight yet again.
Okay, so hopefully nothing happens live. I don't think anything will, but again, Taeyun.
I mean, gut gesehen von KT auch. Muss man ja auch sagen irgendwo, ja. Caro, danke für den Raid, Gummo. Ja, also da muss man auch sagen, irgendwo gut gesehen von KT auch. Hallo Mef. Grüße.
I'm looking for him. And you know what? I think he found him.
Yeah, I'd say that he did. Sometimes you're walking out of your jungle and you just...
Was er verpasst? Also Game 1 ein Stomp und Game 2 eine bisher kleine Shitshow. Sonst nicht viel. Und hallo Sumia.
That 700 gold lead, you know, again, doesn't look like much, but it's been honest work for Nongshim this game.
Oh yeah. There was a turret taken in exchange, I am pretty sure.
Yeah, BDD, I think, got the bottom turret. He got a plate as well. And Perfect's going to get another turret on the top side here. So that's keeping the money close, but these turrets a little bit more valuable that KT are starting to lose now.
Yeah, and there are 2 siege minions making their way forward as well. So that is a little bit scary. Aiming once again in his least favorite position on the map, a Sponge. Taking a fair bit of damage, but there is a shockwave.
Gut geflasht.
Maybe an opportunity now for KT, but BDD is...
Oh, BDD ist tot, oder? Nee, tot nicht. War hier oben.
Now Cuz, tagged by the wind becomes lightning. As King, like, how do they deal with
Ja, das mit Goretzka im Sommer habe ich schon gesehen, aber er verlässt nicht jetzt. Darum ging es ja. Er verlässt nicht immediately, sondern erst im Sommer.
As Cuz was spinning, has another charge, but isn't actually going to be using it just yet. As now King moving back over towards this inhibitor turret.
Ja, Na ist super OP. Problem ist, wenn die so ausgechunkt werden, können die halt nicht weitermachen. Also sie haben noch eine Minute Nash, aber...
Playing this so well.
I mean, he's so scary right now on this.
He dodged.
He's very strong.
He dodged the shockwave with a dash. Flashes after the handshake to make sure there's no follow-up. Is extremely large, like you mentioned. He got all that extra money in the bottom side while Baron was...
KT ausgeht schon, oder?
He's level 16, almost level 17.
Weiß ich nicht, ob ich da so, also... Irgendwann... Vielleicht, aber ich glaube für die nächsten 5 Minuten sind die fein. Check this lock in second of lands. Nö. Ich glaube wirklich, dass Mika jetzt gut gewesen wäre. Weil es nicht, also es gibt nicht viele Sachen, die halt passieren können, außer dass halt ein Flash-W kommt auf die Kaliste und so. Aber wer weiß, was weiß ich schon. The hell do I know? Wäre Cleaver nicht besser als Sterex gewesen? Ich glaube, Sterex ist einfach besseres Teamfighting wahrscheinlich. Vermutlich besser Teamfighting.
Well, perfect. Comes on over. Ghost tries to snare someone, but it's going to be this inner turret falling down.
I kind of feel like
the overgrowth, then this moves away.
This Baron was not as impactful in terms of getting permanent damage done as Nongshim would have liked. They got a ton of money.
I mean, there's only 1 plate left on both of the inhibitor turrets, though, so I feel like that is decent value.
Now we're 30 minutes in, though, and I think with KT keeping these alive and BDD getting all that extra farm, he gets a needlessly large rod, like... obviously has, because he's a mid laner, tier 3. Sork pen boots aiming. Oh, not again.
We've seen this movie before.
Holy
As
fuck.
He gets the shield from Ghost. Now Kingen going to get snared, but he just throws blocks of concrete around.
Holy fuck, ist der stark.
He is going to be A-OK. Has a Guardian, remember, so he is absolutely fine here in this game. It's Nongshim, relatively grouped up. There is Perfect making his way in. That's going to mean that we've got a 5v5 K-Ram happening.
You know, at this point, Kingen really probably wants to build... Because he has such a lead and he is so unkillable.
7 Level über Support, ja.
But instead he's smart and he's going to build some magic resistance into BDD because he knows he's the real main threat. One more chance here for KT, one more desperate fight.
Und King kriegt wieder mega nah.
The tide-turning battle if BDD can do it again and find that backline.
They're going to have to do it as quickly as possible because otherwise this ocean...
Rage Bar fast full. Warte, warum jumpt King raus? Okay, passt. Wollte nicht von BDD gechunkt werden.
It's pretty comfortably taken down, although that was a little bit dangerous. Still now, there is a Dragon Soul on
the first target.
Slice and dice here from Perfect is the Crescent Guard.
Rage Bar's low, Rage Bar's raus.
Can they actually get in to try and capitalize on these buttons that are now on cooldown? There is still a shockwave here for Scout. Keep your eye out for that one.
I mean, they have a range advantage.
Und jetzt fighten die auf Position gegen Soul? Weiß ich nicht.
But Nongshim is playing it well. They're just not allowing them to have that in. They're just going to push mid now. Look for aiming again.
Ghost.
Yep. Kingen just doing
Ghost.
Which is fighting aiming in the mid.
Aber Xenox.
Another concrete.
Oh, die Position ist so cringe. Ja, gut.
I guess, or is it just sort of a lump? I'm not entirely sure. As Kingen throwing stuff around.
Scout.
There's a cyclone to come into that backline.
Oh, Kingen macht so einen guten Job mit Peelen. Kingen macht so einen guten Job mit Peelen. Vollplate. Scout gegrieft, aber wird gut gebailt von Kingen. Schön. Er hat Flash. Okay, wie zur Hölle kommen wir jetzt in die... Okay, nee, passt. Passt.
That is true. They really tried to hard force winning the team fight, but Perfect bought a ton of time. He is still a level 18 top laner despite his...
Also hier Scout viel zu deep.
And Kingen is really trying to set something up here on the...
Mit seinem Flash auch, aber dann schaut Kingen, hält Aiming und Ghost komplett im Schach. Ja, und dann geht nichts.
Unfortunately, instead he ends up taking a ton of damage. Perfect buys time. Cuz gets away. because he is able to make that long run. Like you mentioned, it's gone.
Yep.
But like all of this time in GA, for example, they're not pushing mid. And King ends up popping his res here because he got way too greedy.
Yeah, so both top laners just kind of threw their Guardian Angels in the bin.
Yeah.
Is kind of what happened there.
I think this kind of trade favors KT. It's not enough to get them back into the game, like you said, but starting to wonder, can Nongshim do it?
Ja, ich sag alles außer Top 2 Teams in den jeweiligen Regionen ist immer ein bisschen sass.
KT on the other side. One of the teams that
the problem
is like, can they end? Can they end? Can they end?
It's the stoppable force versus the movable object, Wolf. It's just really difficult to know which one is going to work out. As right now, Nongshim still have a lot of control. They have an Ocean Soul, like they are feeling very, very good. They can also just split the map and play the game out that way. But Kingin is staying with the rest of his team as a level 19 Gnar. BDD now singled out.
Oh, the split here really good for Nongshim, just making it so there's just not really a great Emperor's Divide angle.
Yeah, BDD needs to be very, very careful with where he's positioned.
King is OP.
Doesn't have his GA back up just yet, so does need to be a little bit more careful than otherwise. But Sponge is just going to start off this Baron and try and clear this control vision towards the back of the pit. KT moving over, cuz
so hard.
Pretty tricksy as this Wukong, so it could be a 50-50, but
they have
Taeyeon's got the sticks, exactly, yeah, the Rend is going to make it so difficult. But let's see whether BDD can find some magic as he's looking for a flank angle. Sponge goes.
Wow, schöne Combo.
But I don't know whether he is going to be a big problem in this fight as King.
Schöne Combo.
Likely to go down as well. The flash forward from BDD aiming. He's going to be able to take that one down. True shot barrage gets into the back line, but now the flash
Taeyeon, dein W ist ausgelaufen, ne? Oh, die Kalista.
Because they haven't killed him just yet, and now
Schöner Flash von Lehens.
cannot do anything. He'll take down Lehens, but Lehens returns the fate.
Oh, geht doch enden, oder nicht? Ah, 30 Sekunden. Ja, maybe nicht.
Here in Super Week.
I don't think BDD could have done more in that fight, but I just don't think it was a winnable one. Look at the setup here. Like, they have hostile takeover. They have Rend. There is just really not a play to be made.
Also ich sag, die Kalista hat ein bisschen zu viel abgebildet, aber gute Combo diesmal. Ich meine, es ist nur auf Ghost, aber trotzdem gute Combo.
Ghost in this initial
Auch insane, wie viel Damage da sie inzwischen macht.
tries to kill Kingin.
Wow.
Flashes forward to get him, but he spent so much time killing the Gnar, they can't impact the rest of the play. And there's just not enough damage here on aiming at the stage, and Taeyeon has so many resources between the bailout that wasn't even needed, the shield coming through, also even gets honey fruit, not that it matters too much. And the rest of the team here for KT just falls apart like a house of cards. BDD was able to find one angle, but trading his life for the Gnar just wasn't enough.
And now a second Baron for Nongshim. That gold lead really starting to become a real one as it moves to 5,000. There is still, you know...
Als hätte ich sie auf Renekton draufblechen, aber will vor allem, wenn dann Bailout gleich rausgeht. Naja. Sei es drum. GA bei King bald wieder ab.
So it's always skewed, even if Smite is mega buff.
Mal schauen, ob sie sich trauen, hier mehr zu pushen, oder ob sie einfach für Elder setupen. Wahrscheinlich Elder. Double Inhib und Elder, weil Top-Lane Wave ist so vor noch. Oh, Top-Lane Wave kommt auch. Eigentlich ist Lane-Setup für Nongshim ziemlich geil. Top-Lane Wave wird auch gleich reinkommen. Oder bald reinkommen.
Because wind becomes lightning. There is an orb going on over towards BDD as Taeyeon pops over towards aiming, but he does have an arcane shift, so he should be all right. The inhibitor, not so much, as that's going to be taken out. I mean, if there's an angle for BDD, okay, oh, there's the flash in.
Taeyeon hat kein Flash. Renat holt dies decent, aber wo ist es Mika jetzt wieder? Oh, da ist Bailout, okay. Passt. BDD hat kein Flash. Kommen die dran? Scout hat noch Ulti, aber... Oi. Scout hat immer noch Shockwave.
I think that's the best they could have hoped for.
Double Inhib into Elder.
Would have been to try to TP
Ulti's raus.
but if he gets pushed on, they just die, and it's still, like, again, best team fight they could hope for, still not enough to stop two inhibitors from going down. Massive 2 waves, maybe more, crashing there to the top side, and Elder is up.
Yeah, there is this big ol' Elder problem that they're looking for. Handshake and a miss onto the Crocodilian.
Like, Scout can TP to end even if this goes awry. He has to get out first.
Cuz...
To survive, that would be a good thing. Does get a big old shield. Doesn't have...
Ja, guckt.
Says, nah, we're not gonna fight for the Elder.
Like, literally just TP to end. Scout's like, alright.
Todes guckt.
GG. And KT are trying to run home.
I don't know whether they can make it home.
Geile Zoning.
Where can I press R? I really want to hit multiple targets.
Yeah.
Scout hat noch Sonjas.
Shockwave collects both of the monkeys. Cuz is going to survive those, surprisingly. And might be able to make it back to his fountain. The problem is, if they're on their fountain, they are not defending their Nexus. First Nexus turret is going to go down.
Boah, und jetzt die Frage, ne? Wie viel hängt wirklich damit ab, also wie viel hängt es damit zusammen, dass die Karma Ezreal Lane halt Level 1 reingeschissen hat, oder zumindest mal die Karma reingeschissen hat. Und ich würde schon sagen, ziemlich viel. Honestly, ich würde schon sagen, ziemlich viel. Renat ist gut. Renat ist sehr gut. GG.
And will pick up the Nexus as well. There's match point for Nongshim and a 3-0 potential here for this squad.